Forbes will put her on the cover as the youngest self-made female billionaire in the world. She will own 100% of her company. With zero investors, Sara Blakely saved $5,000, built Spanx, and sold the company for $1.2 billion. This is how she did it. Atlanta, Georgia. In 1998, a 27-year-old woman is standing in her one-bedroom apartment, holding a pair of pantyhose and a pair of scissors. She has a party to go to and wants to wear white pants. The pantyhose she owns show a line under her clothes, so she cuts the feet off. She likes how they look and how they feel. She has the thought that will change her life. Other women would want this too. Blakely has $5,000 in her savings account and a day job selling fax machines door to door. She has no background in fashion, manufacturing, or in retail. She doesn't know a single person in the hosiery industry. Over the next 2 years, she will be told no by every hosiery manufacturer in North Carolina. She will be laughed at by patent attorneys. She will write her own patent from a textbook she bought at Barnes & Noble. She will change into her product in a Neiman Marcus bathroom to convince a buyer to stock it. And by 2012, Forbes will put her on the cover as the youngest self-made female billionaire in the world. She will own 100% of her company. With zero investors, zero debt, and zero partners, diluting her ownership. What you are about to see is not a fairy tale. It is the blueprint used by every successful entrepreneur since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. She used every single one of Palmer's principles. She just did not have a name for them at the time. But you do. Sara Blakely was born February 27, 1971, in Clearwater, Florida. Her mother was an artist, and her father was a personal injury lawyer. Her father had one dinner table question he asked her and her brother every single night. What did you fail at today? If she did not have an answer, he was disappointed. Not because he wanted her to lose, but because he wanted her to try things most people were too scared to try. That one question rewired how she thought about risk before she was old enough to vote. She was a good student and wanted to be a lawyer like her father. She took the LSAT and scored poorly. She took it again and scored poorly again. Every plan she had for her life was built on becoming an attorney. That plan was over. She took a 3-month job at Walt Disney World in Orlando and even tried stand-up comedy. Then she landed at a company called Donka. Donka sold fax machines. Her job was to knock on doors in the Florida heat in a pair of pantyhose her employer required her to wear and convince business owners to buy a fax machine. She got rejected all day, every day. Business cards ripped up in her face and security escorting her out of buildings. She has said she listened to motivational tapes in her car between stops just to get the courage to walk into the next lobby. She was 25 years old at the time. She had no money, no credentials, and a job that paid her to knock on doors and feel humiliated. But she had something most 25-year-olds do not have. She had 7 years of training in how to hear the word no and keep walking. 7 years of learning that rejection is not personal. 7 years of talking to strangers about a product they didn't ask for. She didn't know it yet, but every rejection was tuition. She was paying to learn the one skill every founder needs more than funding. In 1998, she moved to Atlanta for the Donka job. She was 27 years old, and she had a prototype made out of a pair of pantyhose with the feet cut off. The first decision she made is the one most founders get wrong. She did not quit her day job right away. She kept selling fax machines 9 to 5. She worked on her product nights and weekends. She put her entire $5,000 savings into research, not into quitting. She bought time. She was not going to be homeless while she figured out what she did not know. The second decision. Sara needed a patent. She called patent attorneys in Atlanta. The quotes came back between $3,000 and $5,000. Her entire budget was only $5,000. One quote would eat her whole company before it existed. Sara bought a book on how to write your own patent. She wrote the patent herself, and her mother, an artist, drew the prototype sketch. Later, she paid an attorney $750 to review the technical sections before filing. That was it. Her total legal spend to protect the idea that would become a billion-dollar company was less than what most founders spend on incorporating their business today. The third decision was the name. She studied brand names and landed on the name Spanx. But at the last minute, she changed the spelling to Spanx. She had read that made-up words trademark more easily than real words. She paid $150 on the United States Patent and Trademark Office website to secure the trademark on her credit card. Patent, trademark, name, day job still intact, and $5,000 in savings barely touched. She had not spoken to a single manufacturer yet, but that was coming. Most of the hosiery factories in the United States were in North Carolina. Sara called them and pitched the idea. Nobody would meet with her. So she got in her car and drove to North Carolina. She went from factory to factory, stood in lobbies, and pitched her idea to every mill operator who would give her 5 minutes. Every single one turned her down. The industry had a pattern. They made hosiery to be seen on a woman's leg. Sara was pitching a hosiery product designed to not be seen at all. It was designed to disappear under clothes. That was not hosiery to them. That was something they did not have a category for. So they said, no. She drove home to Atlanta with no manufacturer. She had the idea, the patent, the trademark, and no way to make the product. 2 weeks later, her phone rang. A mill operator in Asheboro, North Carolina was calling her back. He had turned her down in person, but he had gone home and told his 3 daughters about the pitch. His 3 daughters told him he was an idiot. They told him to make the product. He called Sara and said, I still think this is crazy, but I will help you. That is the moment the whole story turns. Not because of anything Sara did at that moment, because of something she had already done. She had put her product in front of enough people that the right one eventually heard about it, from a person who mattered to him. The prototype took a full year to get right. She tested every version on herself, her mother, and her friends. That detail matters. The hosiery industry at the time was testing products on mannequins. Mannequins do not sit down, they do not walk, and they do not tell you the waistband rolled after 2 hours. She was the first one to test on human bodies across different shapes. She was not following industry best practices. She was writing new ones because the industry had never bothered. This is Palmer's principle number 6, evaluation. Assess and improve your business. Sara was evaluating a product that did not exist yet, in a category an entire industry had decided was not worth evaluating at all. She also redesigned the waistband. The industry used the same size waistband on every size of hosiery to cut costs. She built different waistbands for different body sizes. It added cost. It also made the product work. That was the trade no one else was willing to make. She began to capture cash flow that the entire hosiery industry had written off as impossible. She also made a visual decision. Every hosiery package in America was beige, white, or gray. Boring. She made her package red. She put cartoon illustrations of 3 different-looking women on the front. She positioned the product next to shoes in the store, not in the hosiery section, because the women buying her product were not shopping for hosiery. They were shopping for an outfit that needed to look right. Every one of those decisions was a no to the industry and a yes to the customer. The industry never forgave her for it, but the customer never forgot. Subscribe for more on how to make, manage, and multiply more money. In the fall of 2000, Spanx launched, Sara flew to Dallas to meet a buyer at Neiman Marcus. When the buyer was not convinced, she did something most founders would never do. She asked the buyer to walk with her to the bathroom, and in the Neiman Marcus ladies' room, Sara changed into her white pants with Spanx, and then without Spanx, and showed the buyer the difference in the mirror. Neiman Marcus placed the product in 7 stores that day. Bloomingdale's followed, then Saks Fifth Avenue, then Bergdorf Goodman. Sara was running the entire operation out of her apartment, packing orders into white envelopes at night after her shift at Donka. She mailed a basket of Spanx to Oprah Winfrey's show with a handwritten note explaining what the product was. In November of 2000, Oprah named Spanx one of her favorite things. That one moment broke the company wide open. Sara resigned from Donka. Spanx did $4 million in its first year of business, $10 million in year 2, and every dollar stayed in the company because Sara had never taken a penny of outside money. In 2001, she signed a deal with QVC. On the first appearance, they sold over 8,000 units in under 6 minutes. The product did not need advertising. The product was the advertisement. By 2012, Forbes put her on the cover as the youngest self-made female billionaire in the world. Spanx was valued at $1 billion, and Sara owned 100% of the company. Still no investors, still no debt. And in October of 2021, one of the largest private equity firms in the world acquired a majority stake in Spanx at a $1.2 billion valuation. Sara kept her executive chairwoman role. Forbes put her net worth at $1.3 billion after the deal. There will never be another Sara Blakely, but you can achieve a similar level of success if you understand how she did it and you put in the work. Not the hype or the highlight reel, the actual moves she made. The same principles that built a billion-dollar company without a single outside investor are available to you right now. The blueprint is at capturecashflow.com. Every letter of the acronym, business, maps directly to actions Sara took on her way from fax machine saleswoman to billionaire. B. Belief. Because she believed a garment that had never existed before would work in a category every expert in the industry said didn't exist, she kept going through 2 straight years of rejections from every factory she visited. By the time the industry realized there was a market for what she was selling, she already owned the patent, the trademark, and the relationship with the customer. Undertaking, because she kept her day job at Donka while she built Spanx on nights and weekends for 2 years. She did not need outside money to survive. She built the habit of working twice, every day, until the side project could replace the main job. That discipline meant she never had to give up equity to keep the lights on. Her undertaking was not inspiration. It was the 2 years of double shifts that let her own 100% of the company on the day she sold it. Service. Because she served women who bought hosiery and hated it, she captured cash flow from a customer the industry had decided did not exist. Women who wanted to wear white pants without a line showing. Women who wanted comfort without sacrificing how they looked. The entire hosiery industry was serving mannequins. Sara was serving the women who wore the clothes. And for the next 2 decades, they showed up for every product she launched. Individuals. Because she built her early breakthroughs one individual at a time, 3 relationships opened 3 different doors. One mill operator in Asheboro, North Carolina, said yes because his 3 daughters told him to. One buyer at Neiman Marcus said yes because Sara walked her to a bathroom and proved the product. One television host, named Oprah Winfrey, said yes because a basket of products arrived with a handwritten note. 3 individual relationships. Every one of them launched another stage of the company. Networks. Because she built her own distribution network one retailer at a time, she was never dependent on a single channel. Neiman Marcus, Bloomingdale's, Saks, Bergdorf Goodman, QVC, Oprah. Then years later, direct to the consumer online. Every channel added, never subtracted. By 2021, Spanx was selling in more than 50 countries. The network she built, one handshake at a time, became the engine no competitor could replicate. Evaluation. Because she tested every prototype on real women's bodies, when the industry was testing on mannequins, her product worked in ways nothing else on the shelf did. She runs what she calls oops meetings, where employees stand up and share the mistakes they made that week, out loud, to the entire team. She built an entire company culture around measuring what went wrong so they could fix it faster. Evaluation did not just make her product better, it made the company unavoidable. Setup. Because she wrote her own patent from a textbook and trademarked the name Spanx on her own credit card for $150, she owned the intellectual property before the company existed. She took zero outside investment for 21 years. When she finally sold a majority stake, she still owned 100% of the company on the day she signed. That is how you end up with $1.3 billion after an exit. You set up the ownership structure first. Shout, because she let the product shout first. She built a word-of-mouth audience that no marketing budget could have bought. Oprah told the story. The product told the story. And the customers told the story. When the shout came, it came because the product was worth shouting about, and because Sara had done the work of the first 7 principles before she ever needed to advertise. She did not pay for the attention. She earned it. Sara Blakely started with $5,000, a pair of scissors, and a theory about women that the entire hosiery industry thought was wrong. She used all 8 principles, but she did not call them Palmer's principles. She called them common sense, hard work, paying attention, serving the customer, writing her own patent, knocking on every door, and a lot of other things. But Sara Blakely is not the story. You are the story. Because right now, there is a customer somebody is ignoring. There is a product somebody has decided is not worth making. There is a need the big players have written off as too small, too niche, too far from what they think of as a real market. And you have the ability to understand that customer in a way no competitor ever will. If you serve that customer before anyone else bothers to try, that is your competitive advantage. Sara Blakely followed the blueprint and turned $5,000 into a $1.2 billion exit. Can you follow the blueprint?